Dr. Arthur Kennedy and several others. Arthur Kennedy was on this show last week and said, this is advice to the NPP. You actually also agreed to that advice, that they should be watchful how he communicates.
Yeah.
Do you find that even on the first day of his job, he's attracting negative energy to the ticket?
No question about that. That was an unforced error. It was an unnecessary mistake. It was the weakness of NAPO coming to the fore. And this is what people have been talking about. So look, it was bad, period. It was a negative. It was baggage that he shouldn't have. The only thing is that it's come up at the first place, so maybe he should deal with it. But again, you see, last week's discussion, I said something which many people mistook. I said, if after decades of NAPO's politics, the biggest problem people cite about him is that he's arrogant, then the positive is that maybe he's effective. I didn't mean arrogance was positive. Then I said, if somebody calls you arrogant in this country, check yourself, because it is not really the dictionary definition of arrogance. It may be all kinds of different things. One of those things is indiscretion. So the question, people say, we told you he's arrogant. You see he's arrogant. Was that arrogance? Was it arrogance to mention Kwame Nkrumah and say the things that you said? Your Kwame Nkrumah. Now, hear me carefully. For me, that was not arrogance. It was politically inappropriate. It was emotionally unintelligent and strategically inept.
How else do you tell that someone is arrogant?
So, wait, you see, the point I want to make is, let's not be fixated about arrogance. Let us go to the actual situation and deal with it. What NAPO did weakens his friends and strengthens his enemies. It has nothing to do with arrogance. It is strategically inept. Okay? It is emotionally unintelligent. Kwame Nkrumah is the greatest African of the last millennium, the best leader we have ever had, the one man who could have been president of the United States of Africa. How do you take him on in those terms?
The man who epitomizes the philosopher king.
You can say
what should have been the ideal for a leader of any country.
That man did not have a vice president. He ruled this country with his little finger. He did all those things that he did within that space of time and didn't leave any property for his children. Look, we can go on and on and on, but my point is, if you just say NAPO is arrogant, you have missed the point. For me, this is serious. And that is why.
So will this hurt the Bawumia campaign?
I've said it. It weakens his friends and strengthens his enemies. Who has said anything about NAPO or the speech apart from this one? Okay. So look, like I said, the decision is for Vice President Bawumia to take. And he had a lot of time. To the extent that it was his prerogative, he didn't make a mistake.
Do you find that even when Otumfuo says, I don't know you to be arrogant, you've not been brought up, that's not the way I brought you up, and then still said, I've had conversation with you in the closet, and then he still comes forward to say it. It's as if he wants to be careful. And then he says, but if the people are saying this, be watchful.
Yes. There's a statement, there's a phrase called putting your foot in your mouth. You can Google it and see. That's the problem. And sometimes people can't help themselves. People will tell you that if you are close to NAPO, you will not sense this arrogance people talk about. But it comes across that way.
There are others who will tell you differently. If you are close to him, you will confirm that it's worse.
My father told me something many years ago. I've never forgotten. He says, if 2 or more people tell you the same thing about yourself, it is true. Check it. You may not like it.
That's Bible.
Oh, fine. But let's move. So my point is,
the testimony of 2.
The matter is established.
I think it's established.
So what I'm saying is this. For me, I'm looking for effective leaders for this country. Now, arrogance doesn't work well in Ghanaian politics. Now, whether NAPO is arrogant or not, he has to deal with it. What I'm worried about is, even if you are arrogant, you should not be making emotionally unintelligent.
Okay, so let's move away from arrogance now. Let's move away from arrogance now. He comes because he says he's sorry. He's regretted it. He's hurt people.
Yes.
It should be let go.
It's quite offensive.
The CPP issued a statement. Several other people have told how they are disgusted about it. So we should ignore his defense that he tried to put up. Now, what do you think? After his outdooring, he appears to be visiting royal homes, so to speak. How central is that as a strategy to their campaign?
Listen, Ghana is a democracy, and our kings and chiefs are not supposed to be in mainstream politics. But if you're a politician in this country and you belittle the institution of chieftaincy, you've just shot yourself in the foot. If you're a politician in this country and you don't understand the power, I'm talking about real power, that people like that Santini wields, you are joking. So he starts from somewhere, and as a royal, it is proper that he starts from the palaces. Let's see where he goes from here. So that, absolutely correct. And when people complain about NAPO and everything, look, one of the problems of MPP is that their base is demoralized, and they may not get people coming out to vote in the kind of numbers they want. NAPO is the one man that can change that. So when he's done, you may not hear him, see him go out and do all kinds of things generally and broadly. But I think if he gets his strategy well or right, and manages to get the MPP faithful, their base, to come out and vote, you will see what will happen. So as far as I'm concerned, it is Vice President Bawomia's choice. He's made his choice. He knows why. I think he also knew the weaknesses of NAPO. And like I'm saying, it come out on the first instance. But for me, to just tag it as arrogant, it's just belittling the matter. In other senses, it's more serious.
There are those who also put a bit of an
doing.
emphasis on what he talks about and refers to Professor Milton and say, I do fear Oye. So he tells the people that I'm one of your own. And people suggest that's getting to tribalistic, ethnocentrism. Where do you stand on that?
It sounds tribalistic. Again, if you're a political strategist and you don't understand the role of regional balance, what we call tribalism in this place, you are joking. Even in the US, where they don't have tribes, they always have regional balance. You pick somebody from here, then you pick somebody from that side. Now, one of the problems that the NPP has, apart from its base, is Kumasi. It's Ashanti, where its stronghold is supposed to be. And they're having a lot of problems in Ashanti, from Adanchemanti issues and all the things that everybody knows. NAPO is the perfect plug to solve that problem. And if he's a politician and knows what he's doing, he should quickly connect to his people at that level. Right. So look, political strategy has all kinds of aspects to it. And for me, I think I am watching closely. NAPO made a mistake in terms of mentioning Kwame Nkrumah in that light, but in terms of connecting to his people and saying that I'm one of you, absolutely solid political strategy.
Right.